What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about one of my most requested topics or comments on my recent videos, and that's how the coil suspension setup has held up on my Land Rover. I've had it on there for about, I want to say 5 or 6 months now. Put about 8,000 miles on it. So this is kind of just going to be a quick overview of how it's held up, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, really quick, and maybe a little bit of driving. So if you've followed the channel, this is my 2006 Land Rover LR3. I've named her the Warthog because it's pretty much a tank through anything. I've got videos I'll link up in the corner of the overall mods and stuff I've done. Basically, it's coils, wheels, roof rack, rear ladder, super basic stuff just to kind of make this thing reliable. But what you wanted to hear about is the coil over kit. So let me dial this in. So as you can see up here, I do have the coil conversion. What that entails is removing all of the airbag struts out of the vehicle, disconnecting the sensors for each of those, your lift rods. So if any of you are using like Rhino rods or not Rhino rods, yeah, maybe Rhino rods, Johnson rods or any of that stuff, those you can totally just pull out and sell if you wanted to. Let me turn the truck off so it's not so loud when we're looking at stuff. So once you've pulled your air suspension out, you don't need it, whatever. Your Johnson rods or your lift rods that you're using or your factory ones can be totally removed. Everyone questions me about that, what you do with them. So I'm gonna come down here and actually take a better look. As you can see in the middle of the screen, there is my Johnson rods. I just left mine. I didn't feel the need to pull them out completely, but I did unplug the actual sensor itself. Down there, my sensor cable's unplugged, and up there I have the actual coil itself. So I opted for the Atlantic British 2-inch lift kit with the heavy-duty Old Man Emu springs. Essentially, that means the rear is capable of holding a little bit more weight in case I had, say, a drawer set up, or I was towing a lot of stuff, or just had a lot of weight in the back. It would have that extra heavy-duty spring in there to help out with the load. In terms of overall ride quality, my 2006 Land Rover has 192,000 miles on it now. I bought it with about 180,000 miles, and about 4 months in, probably a month or two after my Johnson rods, I noticed a suspension light on the dash, and basically I had blown the compressor on the vehicle. I don't know if it was replaced at some point, but the air compressor went out, and I kind of had to make a quick decision. It was either spend money replacing components of this really old air suspension system, or I could just convert it to the coilover setup where I wouldn't have to worry about any electronic issues anytime in the future. That's what I did, obviously, and it's been great ever since. I've put this thing together to be kind of a all-around great off-roader, whatever road trip vehicle. I haven't done any overlanding or serious trail stuff yet, but I have done a lot of long-distance ski trips. I have decent trips over the weekends through really deep snow. I've done a little bit of sand road driving, and everything's been great so far. I can't complain. The only thing you're really going to lose with doing a coil conversion is your ability to raise and lower the truck. What you're at is what you're at. So that's my only major downside, is that you lose that really great feature of being able to do that mega lift of your suspension. But otherwise, the 2-inch lift paired with these, I think these are 31-inch tires. I have videos on my wheel setup and all of that. I'll link it up there as well. Have been super great. Another thing I noticed from going with the 2.5-inch lift down to this 2-inch lift is that I did trim a little section of my bumper. I'm running a 275/65/18 tires. This is a Falcon Wild Peak AT3, and on my 18x9, I want to say ET35 American Racing wheels. But basically, that extra 1/2 inch of lift, I rubbed a little bit down there. So just a little bit, easy trim. It's just plastic, and honestly, I probably could have gotten away with it without doing that if I felt necessary. I've also noticed that on on-ramps or in roundabouts, anywhere tight, I don't know if it's because of the wheels or what, but the traction control, the light would flicker when I'm driving, and I'll try to repeat that when we go for a quick drive. But it would flicker and it would cut power, and so after like 35 miles on an on-ramp, miles an hour on an on-ramp, you would lose your power and not be able to go any faster. So all I do is turn off the traction control for that quick 30 seconds, and it doesn't do it. It doesn't freak out. You can go normal speeds. Obviously your traction control's off, so be careful, but that's about it. Inside the truck now, as you can see, I've got this red suspension light down here. That's going to be your air suspension error light, and that's going to come on when you install this kit. Now, also ignore my check engine. The kit does come with this little guy right here, and this is what I use to switch the suspension into coil mode. And so this plugs right into the OBD port, OBD2 port down there, and you can use this little button on here to toggle it from air suspension mode into coilover mode. As you can see, I still have the light up here, and that's because I have not yet wired in this thing permanently with this wiring harness that's included here in the kit. So once this is hardwired into the system down there, that suspension light will go away permanently. Now clearly it hasn't bothered me enough to do that, and it was also winter time when I installed the kit, so laying in the garage when it's super cold wouldn't be very nice. So basically that's why that light is still there, because this isn't hardwired in. It comes with full instructions. There's videos online how to do it. I don't think it'd be that hard, and honestly I might even try to tackle it later today. Another thing that I don't know if, since this isn't hardwired, maybe this will change once it's hardwired, is on my screen up here you can see I have the air suspension kind of flashing that my wheels are, you know, slammed in here, and that's just always doing that. So that's just another little thing. If it bothers you, I get it. It kind of bothers me a little bit, but not crazy. This switch now does nothing. As you can see, the lights are actually shut off on this side. All of your other modes are retained, so all of your traction modes still work. Your high and low still works, your diff stuff, any of that. All of this system still works, it's still retained, and your traction modes are basically your power sent to each wheel, and not really much to do with the air suspension itself. The only thing you're losing is your height. So in some of these modes it may raise or lower the vehicle, but you know, since that doesn't do anything, these will still work, your traction modes still work, and no problems there. Now I've put about 8,000 miles on this suspension since I've installed it, and it's honestly been a really nice ride. The quality has been super smooth. I don't know if it's because my old suspension was just really old and worn down or what, but it's been driving super comfortably, and I haven't blown out any suspension, had any weird clunking, any sort of weird anything with actual struts themselves. Once I installed them and dropped the vehicle down, I haven't looked back. They've been great, and no complaints from me there. So let's go for just a quick drive down the block. We'll hit a quick dirt road and just cruise for a second, and that should pretty much wrap up a lot of stuff. If you guys have any additional questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below. And also, if I can't answer it, Atlantic British has pretty good customer service, and you could probably just shoot them an email or go check out their actual product page for this suspension setup, which I'll link down below as well. That way you guys have the full resource and kind of can get a gist of it. Again, I installed it because this truck has a lot of miles. It's my daily / winter vehicle, and so for me, having a very reliable setup that won't strain me on my bump stops if an electrical thing happens, or if an airline gets a hole in it, or a bag pops, or for whatever reason, I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I went to the coil setup, and it's been great. I know a lot of people that have done it have absolutely loved it, and then there's people that have absolutely hated it. Facebook is not the place to find answers. It's one of those things where if you're thinking about it, maybe you just go for it and stop worrying about fixing air components, because I didn't want to deal with that. All right, guys, we're just cruising along on this somewhat bumpy regular road, and yeah, no complaints here. It's soft. I'm absorbing all of these bumps like nobody's business. It is a Land Rover. The suspension's designed for a Land Rover, so I assume it'll handle everything like normal, and it does. Feels like a normal road car. It's great. no complaints. Okay, here we are on some bumpy dirt road. I don't have access to a full off-road terrain park to, you know, show you guys how the suspension flexes, how it deals with any of that stuff, but just general daily driving and, you know, driving through the snow, on some dirt roads, any of that kind of stuff. Suspension does really, really well. Like I said, I've 100 times now, I can't complain about it, and having the peace of mind knowing that no matter what happens, wherever I'm at, I know the suspension's not gonna fail on me, at least in an electrical or, you know, air suspension faults or anything like that. All of that's in the past. I can now confidently cruise without worrying about it. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this quick update on the air suspension. Well, it probably wasn't too quick, but hopefully that answered a lot of your questions. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. I got some big stuff coming to the channel. I'm actually filming a lot of it right now, but it probably won't be released for the next few weeks, if not next month. And that should be super fun. I'm very excited about that. And if you guys know the past history of my channel, you know I'm a lot about cars and working on myself, all that kind of jam. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys next time.